questions for the Etec Project?
Come on in.
Alright, so first can you introduce yourself and what you do?
My name is Amber Schlinwein. I am a registration representative at Hoag Hospital.
So what does your workday look like?
A typical workday at Hoag always changes. We do 3 different positions. One day we'll work the EMS bay, so all the people that come in through the ambulance, and then which is everyone that walks into the ER themselves. And then we have floor registration, which we go room to room, every person in the ER, and we fully register them in, so take their IDs, take their insurance, update all their information.
So what does the word critical thinking mean to you?
Critical thinking to me is, I think of it as a thought process, but definitely a lot more in depth. I think that it has to do with evaluating and analyzing the topic at hand.
Okay, so how do you use critical thinking at work?
I think I use critical thinking the most when I'm quick regging people, so when they walk in through the ER. What I have to do is we really have to determine whether they're more critical or they're not. So when we determine that, it really is just if they have 3 different types of symptoms. So if they have shortness of breath, chest pains, or any stroke symptoms, which could be droopiness of the face, droopiness of the arm on the side, those are all symptoms and they really matter, and that's how we definitely tell if a person needs to go back right away or not.
Can you give me an example of when you had to use critical thinking at your work?
I have had to use this critical thinking tool many times, but 2 specific instances was one time when there was a younger gentleman. He came in and he was complaining about chest pains, but he said that they weren't that bad. Well, when I put in that notification, he was told, and we finally figured out, that he was actually in the process of having a heart attack. When in another situation, an older woman with shortness of breath, which would normally be a very concerning thing, she ended up to just have a cough. So that's the deciding factor that I use critical thinking to determine what their symptoms are, so I can say whether it's a really serious matter or it's not that serious.
Okay.
Come on outside.
How do you use critical thinking outside of work?
I think outside of work, I use critical thinking a lot in my school, just because human anatomy takes a lot of evaluating and analyzing, especially with all the actions and origins and insertions of bones and joints. And that's really important to memorize that and keep that as part of my job, because nursing is the thing that I want to go into.
Why do you believe critical thinking is so important?
The reason why I believe critical thinking is important is because without it, we have a closed mindset, not allowing us to fix the out-of-the-box problems that we have in the real life today.
So that's all the questions I have for you today. Thanks for answering them.
Of course.
In conclusion, there are 2 main points. The definition of critical thinking is to deeply analyze specifically to the topic at hand. It's thinking outside of the box and creating solutions that may not be as obvious as they seem. Second is critical thinking should be used both inside and outside of work environments. It is very important, for problems are always going to arise and need to be solved no matter where you go.